We now look at an example where there is a double sound and the intonation is going high. The double sound is indicated by a horizontal line going above the letter and a vertical sign above the letter. An example we can use is also from the Rudranamikam. We have U going low, Te middle sound, Nam going low, Utainam, 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 and then we have the double sound there. Vishva, Vishva, Vishva. Utainam Vishva, Utainam Vishva, Utainam Vishva, double A and going high. Utainam Vishva. You must be wondering about this particular S sound. Why is it pronounced as sh? Let us look at an example. When it comes to the sounds of S, we have two variations, S or sh, S or sh. Imagine going to the beach and you see the beach sand. That is S. That's expressed when the S has no symbol above or below it. However, when the S has a accent on it or a dot below it, we'll say sh, like beach shells. We now look at one exceptional sound, which is known as the Dirgha Swarita or double accent, indicated by two vertical lines. These sounds will make sense once we go through examples, but we have seen them in the past whenever we're chanting Vedas or listening to various Vedic hymns. Let us go through some examples. Notice here we have a double A, so the becomes A, and we have a Dirgha Swarita. So in this particular example 1, we have Prachodayat. So the sound is a bit of a wave. Prachodayat. It can also be singular. Yat cha bhavyam. In this particular case, the wave remains in the air. Yat cha bhavyam. First example, prachodayat. Notice how we're dividing the various parts. So we have pra, middle sound, cho, going low, da, middle, ya, double A, so it becomes ya, and the wave is there. Prachodayat. In this particular case, we'll say ta, and not just yat. We'll say yat, which is a common occurrence when we're ending with the t sound, and there's a long vertical line to indicate the end of that particular verse. In this part, we have second one. We've got ya is middle, yach, is middle, ch going low, bhav is also middle, and then we have ya middle, and joining onto the m sound, which is going high, or rather having a beautiful inclination with the Dirgha Swarita. Yacha bhavyam, yacha bhavyam. So when we have the double sound like a or u, we're going to create that wave. When we have the singular like m, we're going to have a singular sound. Yachabhavyam. Think of it as when there's a double sound, it is a complete wave, and when there's a singular sound, it's just half a wave. Look at a very fascinating aspect of chanting the Vedas, which is known as the Visarga. Visarga is optional. If you wish to apply it, it just enhances the poetic expression of the Vedas. So we have Visarga occurring when the H has a dot at the bottom. We look at then the preceding letter of the next word. So what letter proceeds? Nama prachodayat. In this particular case, the H has a dot at the bottom. The starting letter of the next word is pa. When the starting letter is pa, it changes to namaf. So we have examples like Ekadantaya Vitmahe Vakratundaya Dhimahe Tanno Dantif. Danti has H with dot at the bottom. Next part is pa, so it becomes Dantif Prachodaya. Sa Ishvaraya Vitmahe Satyadevaya Dhimahi Tanna Sarvaf Prachodayat. Sarva has H with dot at the bottom, followed by Prachodayat. Sarva becomes Sarvaf. It could happen as well for when there is a K that follows namah or dantih or sarva or any word that has an H with a dot at the bottom. It would be sounding as, in this particular example, nama becomes namah. Namah katyaya. It could be followed by a S sound or a SH sound. Then we could have namas somaya, namash shomaya. So it just depends. What's very important is that when you do apply the visarga, is do not lose the starting letter of the next word. If we take namas somaya and we take the S and we apply it to namas, the next word would not be omaya. It will still be somaya. So there's still a continuation of that sound in the next word, if that makes sense. Meaning we won't take that letter and place it on namas, and that next word is left stranded without the letter it started with. It's just a continuation of sound. So namaf prachodayat, namah katyaya, namas somaya, namash shomaya. Hope this makes sense. Wonderful. Let us continue and look at another variation of the visarga sound. This occurs when there is a visarga that comes to the end of the particular line, and this is indicated by a long vertical line. If there's a long vertical line and that word ends in a visarga, as in the case here where we have nama, it has a long vertical line. What do we do with the sound? We then look at the letter just before the visarga. In this case, it is an a sound. And then we just stretch the sound out after the H sound and we make it double. So nama becomes namaha when there is a ending of that particular line indicated by the long vertical line. In Shanti, we will look at the letter before the H. It is an I sound. So when we stretch the I, it becomes a E sound. So Shanti, He, Shanti, He. Namaha, Shanti, He. So the rule is identify where the visarga is and look at the previous letter. This is when that particular line is concluding, indicated by a long vertical. Let us look at some examples and it will make a bit more sense. One line from the Rudram Namakam. So we can already now see that is going low, so is middle, yes middle, tam double A going low, ro middle. Very well done. See, it's becoming easier. So, yes, tam, ro, is going singular high, ru, singular u going low, ru, na, middle, and singular is there. So, yes, tam, ro, ru, na, u, low, ta, middle. Bub going low, ru. In this particular case, there is a visarga. The next letter we look at is a S sound. So babru becomes babrus. Babrus. Su is going high. Mang, ga, la. What sound would we apply now? Because it's come to an end of the line. We identify the visarga. We look at the letter before it, which is an sound, and it will always be middle. Though this is going high, we apply the middle sound of the stretch part of so it becomes a. Su mang ga la ha. Su mang ga la ha. If there was an I sound or an u sound, we would say who or he. But in this particular case, there's an sound. So we say ha. Let's try this line actually with Tanpura. Our starting point will always be the middle sound. And to practice this, place your lips together. It will be the last part of the Omkaram. It should just match the scale perfectly. And then we can try and practice this line. So yes, Tamro Aruna Uta Babrus Sumangalaha. Aso yes, Tamro Aruna Uta Babrus Sumangalaha. Aso yes, Tamro Aruna Uta Babrus Sumangalaha. Now look at a very familiar, beautiful verse, which is the concluding verse of all prayers. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. What we can notice immediately from the previous examples and rules that we went over, there's a visarga and there's also a vertical long line indicating the end of that particular verse. From intonation, we can say that this is middle. Om. The H sound is there. There's a double A. Shan. That T sound is going low. There's a visarga. We look at the next sound, which is SH. So we say Om Shantish. Next one again is repetitive. We have Shan Dish, because it looks at the preceding sound. So we have Om Shantish, Shantish, Shan. Now the T is going high. T. And what do we do now when we have a visarga and it's concluding? Or rather, it's followed by the conclusion of that particular line, indicated by a long vertical. We look at the previous sound, which is an I, and we're going to stretch it. Om Shantish, Shantish, Shanti.